It's 1948. A new nation's flag rises. Television screens glow to life. And science whispers gentle hopes for the future. Welcome, dear listener. I'm Toro. Tonight, we drift back to the soft light of 1948. The world was still tender from the years before, yet everywhere you looked, there were quiet signs of renewal. Streets hummed with the steady rhythm of rebuilding. Radios warmed living rooms with music and gentle voices. And people, in every corner of the world, reached for small comforts, a shared meal, a familiar chair, a hopeful conversation. 1948 was not loud or hurried. It was a year of careful steps forward, of beginnings taking shape, and of ordinary families rediscovering calm. So settle in. Let your breath slow. And let us wander gently into the world of 1948. World events. Across Europe, reconstruction continued with a quiet kind of determination. Workers rebuilt walls brick by brick. Train stations reopened. Markets filled once more with baskets of fruit and fresh bread. The Marshall Plan brought support to revive economies. Factories sparked back to life, their machines humming steadily through long afternoons. In Berlin, the year's defining tension unfolded gently above the rooftops. With roads into the western sectors blocked, the Berlin airlift began. All day and all night, aircraft landed with supplies. Flour, milk, coal, and sometimes small sweets for children waiting near the fences. It was a quiet testament to cooperation and care. Far to the south, in the Middle East, the world witnessed the founding of the State of Israel. A declaration read aloud. A flag lifted toward the sky. And thousands listened by radio as a new chapter of identity and nationhood began. Across the Atlantic, the Organization of American States came into being. Its goal was cooperation, a hopeful idea carried by diplomats who believed in the power of shared purpose. In Asia, the Korean peninsula moved into a new era. Two governments took shape, each one forming its own path, its own hopes, its own ideas about the future. And in December, beneath winter skies, the United Nations adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Nations gathered in a quiet hall. Representatives raised their hands. And a gentle promise, one of dignity and freedom, was written for the world. 1948 moved softly but with purpose, like a slow tide carrying the world into calmer waters. One story that shaped 1948. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Imagine a meeting room in late 1948. Lamplight glows against polished tables. Stacks of papers sit neatly in front of diplomats from many nations. Here, they gather to create something deeply human, a declaration meant for everyone. At the center of the room sits Eleanor Roosevelt, calm, patient, and steady. She listens carefully. She encourages gently. And she helps guide voices from around the world toward shared understanding. Drafts are read aloud. Sentences are softened. Teacups clink quietly as the work continues. These are not speeches of grandeur but conversations of compassion. People speak of fairness, of safety, of the simple dignity every person deserves. When the vote finally takes place, the hall falls silent. One by one, nations raise their hands. Outside, winter winds move softly through the streets. Inside, pages of a new declaration are gathered carefully, like a lantern being lit for the world. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights does not solve every challenge, but it stands as a gentle guide, a quiet reminder of what humanity can aspire to. A soft beacon in a world learning to find its way again. Daily life around the world. In towns and cities, 1948 moved at a comforting pace. Trams rattled along their familiar rails. Workers carried lunch pails and briefcases. Office desks held fountain pens, inkwells, and neatly stacked papers. In suburban neighborhoods, laundry lines swayed gently in the morning breeze. Children played hopscotch on chalk-drawn squares. Marbles clinked in pockets as games stretched long into the afternoon. Kitchens were the heart of the home. Pots simmered with stews. Bread cooled on countertops. New appliances, refrigerators, toasters, hummed with a soft promise of convenience. Evenings gathered gently around the radio. Families leaned in as warm voices told stories, delivered news, or played comforting melodies. Travel felt like an adventure. Train platforms echoed with footsteps. Suitcases were wrapped in leather belts. Passengers watched the countryside slide past in slow, peaceful motion. Clothing carried quiet elegance. Men wore suits with broad shoulders. Women wore dresses with gentle patterns and soft lines. Schools buzzed with energy. Desks lined up in neat rows. Chalk dust floated in beams of sunlight. Teachers spoke with patient voices about cooperation and curiosity. At night, street lamps cast warm halos of light onto quiet streets. People settled into armchairs with newspapers or books. And the day folded itself gently into rest. Science, inventions, and technology. In laboratories and workshops, 1948 glowed with small sparks of innovation. The transistor, only recently born, revealed new possibilities. A tiny device, yet powerful enough to reshape the future of machines and communication. In hospitals, antibiotics became more widely available. Penicillin saved lives quietly, without fanfare, changing the course of everyday medicine. Scientists studied polio with determination. Early vaccine research brought cautious optimism. A softening at the edge of a long shadow. Homes welcomed new technology. Refrigerators hummed gently. Vacuum cleaners rolled across carpets. And televisions, small, glowing rectangles, introduced moving pictures to living rooms. In the skies, aviation advanced. Airlines opened new routes. Passengers marveled at the feeling of rising above the clouds. And in quiet, humming rooms filled with blinking lights, early computers processed information faster than any human could imagine. Science in 1948 moved not with noise but with thoughtful steps, each one guiding humanity toward a brightening horizon. Culture and the arts. Culture drifted through 1948 like a gentle melody. In cinemas, Laurence Olivier's Hamlet cast long shadows across the screen. The red shoes shimmered in rich, dreamlike color. Music glowed warmly from radios. Nat King Cole's voice wrapped listeners in velvet tones. Bing Crosby crooned softly through quiet evenings. In jazz clubs, pianos tinkled under low lamps. Horn players breathed life into late-night air. Bookshelves welcomed new stories. George Orwell's 1984 offered thoughtful reflection. Children's books brought gentle wonder to bedtime routines. Painters worked with bright strokes and bold ideas. Some captured quiet corners of life. Others let color drift into abstraction. Sports fields filled with laughter and friendly competition. Baseball diamonds glowed in afternoon sunlight. Culture in 1948 was a soft companion, a lantern carried gently through the year. Media and headlines. News arrived slowly, calmly, and with familiar ritual. Newspapers landed on doorsteps with a comforting thump. Pages rustled over breakfast. The scent of ink mixed with morning coffee. Radios offered thoughtful voices. Announcers spoke with steady tones. Headlines of the year included: UN adopts Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Berlin airlift continues as winter nears. State of Israel declares independence. Meanwhile, charming stories filled inside pages, local fairs, school achievements, community events. Prices painted a gentle picture of the economy. A loaf of bread cost around 10 to 15 cents. A gallon of gasoline hovered near 26 cents. A movie ticket invited you in for about 60 cents. News in 1948 floated through homes like a calm, familiar companion. People born and people died this year. Every year carries beginnings and farewells. In 1948, the world welcomed Prince Charles, future king. It welcomed Stevie Nicks, whose voice would one day drift across generations. It welcomed Gerard Depardieu, Andrew Wiles, and many others whose talents would shape worlds of art, science, and imagination. The year also brought gentle goodbyes. Writer Willa Cather left behind stories of quiet beauty. And the world mourned the passing of Mahatma Gandhi, whose voice of nonviolence would continue to echo softly through time. 1948 carried these transitions with dignity, holding births and farewells in its calm embrace. As the final days of 1948 drifted in, the year exhaled. Winter settled over cities and fields. Candles glowed in windows. Families gathered for warm meals and quiet celebration. The year had brought new nations, new ideas, and gentle movements toward peace. It had brought hope, cautious, steady, and growing. People looked toward 1949 with curiosity. What would the next 12 months hold? What new steps would the world take? And so, as snow fell softly or warm breezes drifted, Depending on where one lived, the world let go of 1948 like a page turned tenderly in a cherished book. Thank you, dear listener, for drifting with me through the world of 1948. If this quiet journey brought you peace, I warmly invite you to like the video and subscribe for more calming voyages through history. Until next time, may your night be restful, your dreams gentle, and your heart light. Sleep well, and I'll see you in the next lullaby of time.